Alright, 5 minutes explaining all the reasons why the kinetic energy theorem is wrong. 1/2 mv squared, all nonsense, invented by mostly Leibniz. He took it from Huygens. He just claimed that 4 pounds dropped 1 foot is the same as 4 pounds dropped 1 foot, never proved it. De Charlie picked up the bad ball in the early 1700s with denting clay with round objects, easily debunked experiment. And really that's it. They don't have any experimental evidence beyond that nonsense. And it's just proven wrong by so many things. So look, the theory says it takes 25 times the fuel to spin something 5 times as fast. We all know it's not true. I don't see how anybody with any scientific or mechanical literacy would defend it as true. It doesn't happen. It's nonsense. It has to happen for the theory to be correct. It doesn't happen. You can't make something have 25 times the impact without putting 25 times the fuel in, and 5 times the velocity is not 25 times the impact. Anyway, the lever, 10,000, 20,000 years old, the balance, okay, the gravity balance. It clearly tells you what equals what when it comes to momentums or energy. It's telling you how much gravitational force it's going to be able to move what with. The same force on both sides of the lever. It oscillates perfectly. It's telling you it's the same energy on both sides. On one side, there's a 1 mass going 4 velocity. The other side, there's a 4 mass going 1 velocity. Doubling the velocity will not create the same amount of energy. You need to quadruple the velocity of a 1 mass. So it just proves the case over. The Mythbusters did do the experiment by accident. They weren't trying to prove kinetic energy false, but they did. They crashed a car, same car, into a wall at 50 miles an hour, then 100 miles an hour. It only crashed half as much. They also did the same experiment with clay and got the same results. Okay, and then pretended, crushing a tin can, saying, look, the can is harder to crush. Well, that doesn't mean anything with clay, of course. So bogus. Rolling something, thin ice argument. It's another decisive argument. Okay, you give one thing the same mass, different, the 2 velocities. The one with twice the velocity goes 4 times the distance. It's a complete deception because the gravity is only being applied for 2 seconds. Gravity is a 9.8 meter per single second force. Okay, so it's only 2 units of force. The object that went 4 times the distance is going half its velocity 3/4 of the way down the track, just proving that the faster you go across the surface, the less per foot friction you will incur on the surface. Therefore, you're losing less energy because you have less contact with the surface, kind of obviously. All right, the ballistic pendulum, laughably, this is proving the flat earth nature of conventional physics. 2,000 joules goes in, all they can collect with all their technology. That is the same technology that lands us on the moon. They can only collect 1.8 joules. 1/1000th of the energy, less than 1/1000th of the energy. That's all they can collect. So clearly it's not real energy. Clearly momentum always works. If you believe in Newton's third law, you can't believe in kinetic energy because, frankly, the gun obliterates it. So the very bullet that was created by the gun violates Newton's third law. You're saying you have 2 joules of recoil and you have 2,000 of joules of energy in the bullet. Obviously, it has nothing to do with anything called an equal and opposite reaction or action or any of that. So just absolute nonsense. All right, what else it states? So to defend it, the defenders have to basically propose that twice the weight is 4 times the energy because of how it compresses a spring. So I put 1 mass on a scale, I have 1 unit of energy. I put a second identical mass on the scale, now I have 4 units of energy in the spring. Okay, violates Hooke's law, doesn't make any sense. It's just absolute nonsense to think that the exact same action could create 3 units of energy in one case and only 1 unit of energy in the other case. Thousands of years old again, thousands of years old lever. All of this could have been proven at the time, and it wasn't for whatever reason. The physicists just couldn't make these logical arguments, and so they weren't made. It's a terrible history. Vis visa, the living force. I guess everybody just fell in love with the idea of calling something the living force and pretending that everybody had supernatural powers. Living powers, that somehow there was a force out there that somehow felt like it had to give humans special powers. Maybe that's what it's all about, but whatever it is, it's nonsense. It's the whole core of particle physics. All particle physics is based on 1/2 mv squared. They measured the weight of the electron using 1/2 mv squared. It's ruined physics, and it's a flat earth nonsense. It never had any evidence behind it. It still has no evidence behind it. It's just a fable. And it shouldn't be called science.